Good afternoon here from California. My name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. What a world. What a world we're living in right now. It's so dynamic, so frightening, so exciting, so opportunistic. And so when I was chatting the other day, I think it might have been even just a few days ago. He just renewed his membership. He's on in our Global Chamber San Francisco chapter, and he's always been doing amazing work. And so for some reason, this time when I listened to him, and maybe it's because of the success he's been having, he's so busy. He's got so many exciting companies that he's working with. He's hiring people. And so I think I had just jumped out of another meeting where I heard from another member who was like overwhelmed with like, oh my God, there's wars and there's all these challenges and all this bad stuff. And, you know, when we all go through that, right? There's moments in the day where it's like, how do how are we going to do this? There's way too much, or things go bad, and it's like, oh, how do we overcome this? How do we become resilient? And so when I sat with Jurg and listening to how amazing things are, I thought this would probably be a good time for us to be really frankly inspired by what's going on in his world. So I wanted to make sure that you all got the benefit that I got by listening to Jurg, his experience, his knowledge, and his connectivity between Germany and the Bay Area. Jurg, how many years have you been doing this? How long has it been? As many as 10 years? Did you say it's a 10-year anniversary or so?
A little bit longer than this. So let's say we opened the office for good here in January 2014. But I was doing the marketing piece for our firm since in person since 2006. And just with increasing travels, it simply made sense to have someone on the ground who understands American culture and European culture and build the bridge. So that means I'm doing this personal marketing piece since 2006. And again, we opened the office in 2014. So that makes it now more or less 12 and a half years.
Brilliant. Well, I'd like to kick things off with you, but first go to Shafto Mabub. He is our Global Chamber chapter board chair for the advisory board in the Bay Area. And so Shapto is like one of the more impressive people you'll ever meet in the fintech and financial world. He helps and coaches companies to be successful financially. He's also very well connected and networked into the PE and VC world. He's got all sorts of things, both in the Bay Area and in New York. He has a connectivity to what I consider to be one of my hometowns, the Queens, New York. I actually was born in Westchester County, New York, but Queens is where my family was in, and so he has a connectivity there, has a home there, has a home in the Sacramento Bay Area as well. I mixed two different locations, Sacramento and the Bay Area, because it's not that close, right? It's
Yeah.
like with the last event that we did at Stanford, he drove home, and how long did it take you? It was over two hours.
It was the rush hour, so it was almost like 5 hours.
Five, like, and I actually, when I left, I drove to Los Angeles from there. I can tell you, the rush hour in near Stanford is not something you want to be stuck in. So if you don't mind, what I'd like to frame today up, we've got about 50 more minutes, and so we'll run a full hour uh, total. And so I'd like to start with Shupto with kind of an update on what he sees going on in the region and in the chapter. Then go to Jurg and talk a little bit about what he's been doing and really exciting activity that's going on from both the German and the Bay Area side. And then we have Ozga is here. I thought there she is. Ozga, who's zooming in from Turkey. She's a new member and she has some things on the AI side. Along the way, I'd love to make sure that we get to Robert Lance. Robert Lance is on the advisory board at Global Chamber Denver and is very involved on the German side of things, and have him talk a little bit about some of the things that he's involved with. I want to make sure that he and Jurg are connected. And then Paul Charles was our speaker last month. Paul is involved with like a million and one things, but they all are exciting, from power and energy to data centers and AI, all the way back to lithium and rare earths, all the way through what's happening with semiconductors. Paul has got his finger on almost everything exciting, and have him not only be involved in the conversation, but also give an update from last month, and then others that are here. So if you don't mind, Shupto, could you start and give us
Sure.
an update on where things are and also with the chapter?
Sure. Thank you, Doug. Thank you for the kind introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining with us. So we're gonna have a lot of things going on with our San Francisco Bay Area chapter. We also have a Sacramento chapter. We will keep them all alive. You will see a lot of Zoom meeting, and so does we'll have a lot of social, and we'll keep you guys posted when we are doing that. We'll have a lot of networking opportunity, business insights, economic, all those other different scenarios, especially Doug just alluded us with all those things, what's happening with the global geopolitical situation, and but sometimes it makes certain industry good, certain situation bad. Like in my case, we're doing a fundraising for an AI company. It seems like a lot of the money is moving from those part of the world pretty quickly and very easily. So similar like those type of situation, you will have all those different business insights. So if you have anything that in your mind that you would love to know how to go things over here between all those different parts of the world and US, we'll be more than happy to bring that expertise amongst our member. So in terms of global, yes, there's going to be a lot of global chambers and commerce. We're going to have a lot of meetings. And in terms of business and technology and all those different parts of the economic situation, I guess, yeah, we see quite a few inflation, quite a few price things as the war is kind of giving us alarming and stuff like that. But at the same time, they are kind of jumping back and forth. So that always, as a financial advisor, as a CFO, as an account running an accounting firm, we always interact with our clients like those situation, right? Tax is another situation. We had this tariff situation, and now it's no longer there, right? So there's a lot of different aspects, and everything is changing, industry specific. So once again, if one of you guys have any particular industry or any particular concern about certain business situation, please let us know. We'll try to bring that topic to you guys with an expert and try to help you guys out. I think that's all I'm gonna say, just because I know I want to hear Jorg and other people. Doug, do you have anything I missed you want to add?
So overall, in terms of what you're seeing with business, how would you characterize what you're seeing and how it's compared over the last few months?
Well, it's definitely chaotic, right? Things are there. So, like, tariff is a great situation, right? Where people pay tariff. Now, Supreme Court decided it's not legal. I mean, they challenged it, and so now is the time to get the money refund. So that's one aspect. Other aspect, tax law has been changed a lot. Geopolitical, this war thing is creating price inflation crazy, so businesses are struggling. They cannot raise the price. The raw materials, getting them is not that easy. If it is easy, price is up. So those are the challenges we are facing with the business. But and it's like so volatile. It's up and down, up and down. You just have to work it out. Overall, I'll say if you take an average of 3 months or 6 months, it's up. It's a little bit chaotic, but eventually you're gonna go through it. You'll be able to
Okay.
make through it.
Okay. Who are you looking to in the next few months for your own business?
I'm looking for, we're an accountant, we're a full service accounting and advisory firm. So next thing is just tax season is finishing up. So I'm sure all the business will have tax issue or planning, strategic planning. At the same time, budgeting for the next year or even this year, because year is almost halfway. It's like, can't believe it. So yeah, so I'm excited to see all the different businesses. Private equity world also is my one of my interests. We work with them a lot. So yeah, any businesses who are struggling, both side of the world, or who needs an accountant, or CFO service, those are the people.
Okay. Do you already work with Jurg? Do you partner with Jurg and Reuter Partners?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, there's always an opportunity. So let's shift over to the conversation with Jurg because accounting and tax is certainly an area that he knows very well. Jurg, thank you for taking the time not only the other day with me, but also now sharing with others some of the things that you're seeing out there. What I was really impressed with is the variety of companies, German companies coming into the U.S. and U.S. companies headed outbound that you work with, and also the uptick, it seems, in certainly your activity, which I took to mean an overall uptick in activity between Germany and the US. And that might have been a misassumption, but certainly you're busy. And I would attribute that to maybe an uptick overall, but also your own capability and word of mouth that anybody doing business between the US and Germany should speak with you first. And so, congratulations on that. What would you like to share today?
So first of all, let me one thing very clear that we do not engage in any kind of US tax advice. So that means whatever we are doing, our services are purely complementary to anyone who is a US CPA firm. That's the reason a US CPA firm is also one of our biggest referral bases. Of course, I would say, meanwhile, I know a lot about US taxation, but I would never give any kind of official advice. But I think I know when it's get dangerous, that I say, please talk to someone. So, and due to the fact that our services are purely complementary, we are no threat taking business away or interfering with anything. On the contrary, we are simply adding value to any partner who works with us. So, and our main business, as you say, is to bring American or any foreign company to Germany. But history has given it the way that we have mostly American clients. I would say more than 85% of our client portfolio that go to Germany. And one other unique point is that our offices here in San Francisco are called the German Hub. That means you're together with the German American Chamber of Commerce, Germany Trade and Invest in Bavaria. So this is more or less a German government office, and we're the only one from the private sector in this office for more than 11 years. So
So
I
just
would,
a
yeah,
point of with Robert Lance. Robert has something very similar in Denver. Do you guys know each other? Does the name
no,
familiar? Okay,
no.
Robert, are you able to say hi? And
I
does
am.
what
Yeah,
you're just mentioned mirror a little bit of what you've
yeah,
got set up there?
yeah. I just deal with the legal aspect of it, so it's kind of the same type of thing. But we're just uniquely a law firm that deals with inbound German clients and Austrian and Swiss and other international clients. But yes, that's kind of our niche and our role. But yeah, I work with people like you all the time. But it's good to meet you here because
Yeah, definitely.
any kind of connection with German taxes or German issues always requires some explanation on both sides of the coin.
Robert, the way you've described your office and how you're set up, it sounds like there's German government entities that you're partnering with, or was that a misunderstanding?
Oh, no, no, no. We have two satellite companies that are here. One is Aurora Tech, which detects fires, which is a pretty big deal right now. And then another company called D-Cubed. They're in our space. But we have the German American Chamber here. Law Partner is the former consul for Germany for Denver or for Colorado and Wyoming, and we're adjacent to the consulate here. So yeah, so and we have a lot of connections. I'm also the president of the Council on Foreign Relations in Denver, and we work with the governor's office, to your point, on government, the airport, and some other things. So have a lot of fun working in different sectors.
Very cool. Well, thanks for your work. Is it to be why your connectivity to the German side of things? Jörg was born in Germany, so that one's an obvious one. In your case, how did that occur?
I've always done international law since the beginning of my career, but and I think you may know this. I helped write some of the bankruptcy laws in Russia before we got kicked out. So I worked with a judge that was doing a lot of international work. Then I came to work with Paul Miracle, who happened to be in my office, and I just kept getting referral after referral from German clients that, as Jorg probably knows, they come into the United States having this perception that everything is the same as it is in Germany, and then they find out about a year or so into it that everything is different than it actually is in Germany. So I do mostly litigation in that aspect. So it was by happenstance that the German aspect came in, but I'm the only non-German, non-fluent German speaker in my firm. Everybody else is either German or Austrian. So it's kind of an interesting mix here.
Very cool. Well, thanks for that. And you're sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to make sure that first of all you're connected, and then secondly understand the connection a little bit better. So sorry. Please go ahead.
I was saying that, especially also as Robert was saying, when it comes to international law, I think I mentioned this during our last meeting, that one of the, again, we have also clients that go from Germany to the US. And as Robert also says, it has also been then to be properly structured on the German side when they start to expand, maybe even worldwide. But the thing is that a newly joined client in Germany told me it's not that difficult to find international tax advice in Germany, but hardly anybody touches the US. And I was surprised by this because it is our core business for 40 plus years. So I never thought about it. But obviously for most, let's say, advisors, it is too difficult, let's say, to build a connection with German and American tax law and also to build a bridge with this. So even when maybe this is also one of the reasons why we are so busy, because especially in Germany, honestly, I don't know any other firm that does what we do, except for maybe KPMG and Deloitte. But I also mentioned this. They have, let's say, so maybe high hourly rates and do not focus on individual clients. And especially from Deloitte, we just took over several clients from the individual side when they have an income tax nexus in Germany and the US. So this is also something that we do and we help with. And I think Robert will agree with this, that every unique case is unique. You cannot say everything is cookie cutter. You really have to make sure that you listen to the client, make an analysis of the situation, and then deal with it.
Oh, sounds good. Well, what are some of the things that you're seeing out there? The other day you were mentioning about some of the energy, and I mean, there's only certain things that you can share more publicly, but in terms of some of the activity, what are you seeing between Germany and the US right now that's hot?
Yeah, let's say we have always been on the forefront. I mean, there's a saying that says California takes you in, California takes you out. And that means we always, let's say, are being confronted with the most newest technologies and companies. Might it be a couple of years ago, it was all the cryptocurrencies and followed by green tech. And now it is anything. And then we had a lot of car sensors when it comes to automatic driving. I never knew that there's so many sensors in one car for what kind of different purposes. And now it is, of course, AI. And I think the reason is Germany really has to turn, let's say, the ship around, they have to catch up with so many things because there was a lot of contentment or maybe focusing on the wrong things because they worked so well for so many years. And I think it's a big opportunity, not only for American companies, but more or less for any foreign company who is, let's say, one of the thought leader or advanced in their techniques to enter the German market, because the Germans simply have to buy the knowledge to keep up and to build upon. So don't get me wrong, Germany has fantastic engineers, everybody's extremely well educated, but there is a knowledge gap right now which simply has to be filled. And that's the reason that this knowledge has to be bought.
Well, what's your outlook for business between Germany and the U.S. Going forward? There's a lot there. We've been through the tariff piece, and there'll be more. We've got the USMCA coming up for renewal this summer, July 1st, and that will almost certainly be delayed or pushed out into the future. I think it could go either way. German companies are investing in both in the U.S. and in Mexico for the North American market. Do you have a sensibility or feel confident to be able to look at what the coming months and year looks like relative to activity between the countries?
I can only, let's say, look from our small sliver of this and not so much macroeconomic, but all the companies we are dealing with, they don't have any issues with tariffs because we rarely have any kind of manufacturing or something like this. It's just simply about knowledge transfer and software, excuse me. And this is what I'm saying, but I see no difference in expansion strategies than I've seen before the latest administration. So what I think, at least in my field, I think there's a lot of, I don't know, panic around everything, but I think people are simply tuning out and doing business as usual as best as they can. This is simply my personal perception and the way I've dealt, let's say, with our clients and what I have seen is coming into our firm.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Does anybody have any questions? And I also want to include Paul or any of you that have questions regarding what Jörg has mentioned so far.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, Robert.
No,
I don't want to interrupt an attorney.
That's usually what a judge tells me he's doing to me or she. Anyway, I would agree wholeheartedly with Jörg in the sense that a lot of Americans going the German direction and Germans coming the American way. It goes back to the comment I said and also what he was saying about everybody thinks it's a cookie cutter process. And my favorite thing is to, in fact, I've got a situation now where somebody needed some employment contracts drafted and they literally just, and they're very unique employment contracts. And they just took them after I drafted one for a specific individual and just started shooting them to everybody else. And the thing is, you have to realize that depending on where the employee is, everything, it's not just a one size fits all. And so with kind of the services that he's producing and what we're producing is making sure that they don't make those errors that just seem to be all over the place. Even with just US to US, they think one form does it and it doesn't. And the other thing too is I think, and I'm sure he sees this, is I find on both sides of the coin, we're having to explain how the systems work in each country. And when it comes to the legal system, the US legal system is based on common law, whereas almost all of Europe is under civil law. And so here we have a judge and the attorneys do all the work. In Germany and most of other Europe, it's the civil law, so the judge is actually the one directing the traffic. And there's always a frustration when German clients come here and it's like, why is this case costing me so much? And, why did you have to do that? Why isn't the judge doing anything? Why can't we make the judge do anything? And it's just the way our two legal systems are. So it takes a lot of time and effort to make sure everybody's compliant with that. The other thing that I'm seeing, and I'm sure you're seeing too, is we have a lot of contractors that come in. We have a lot of aerospace here in Colorado. And if it goes into space or if it explodes, you pretty much have to run it through certain ITAR restrictions, which is a terrorist act to make sure that stuff isn't going back and forth, and it's for espionage. But a lot of people, I think, come to this country thinking they can just make whatever they're making in Germany very easily, or even send the plans over. And there's a very stringent protocol for that, and so and accounting for that, and so it's always just getting everybody enlightened on what's going on in each country, and the international trade is really critical, and explaining that as they're inbound or going outbound is absolutely, like I say, critical for the survival of the client. So.
I can only second that. And I was just thinking, I think the different cultures. So what I would like to say when it comes to Germans opening up a company in the US, every German was most likely been 3 weeks in California and 1 week in New York City, and they explained to me how the US works. So, and this is then very difficult, let's say, to rein them in and tell them very explicitly that they don't know what they don't know. And every county, every city has different requirements for reportings, whatever you have to file for business licenses whatsoever, which we don't do, but I make sure they get a CPA firm. They will help them with that. And it is really difficult to tell them, look, you might be very successful Mittelstand in Germany, but you will completely fail if you don't listen to what's going on over here and try to obey. The other thing is, I've seen this with a lot of American companies going to Germany. They're terribly afraid of everything, and you really have to calm them down. And look, it's easy. So many companies have done this. You will be fine. Don't worry about this. So I think they are way more open to learn. And you simply have to tell the Germans they have to learn, and otherwise they will fail.
Yeah.
You've never run into that, Paul, have you?
No, not at all. Jorg, quick question. Where in Germany are you based? Oh, when you are in Germany, because you're in San Francisco now, but do you
Munich.
have office in Munich? Okay, great.
Our firm is headquartered in Munich.
Okay, awesome. You'd mentioned about AI, and so I wanted to get your thoughts on some of the challenges that Germany and the broader continent is having relative to data centers. One of the big challenges we have here is not sufficient power in order to get these AI data centers or AI factories up and running here. And so knowing that Germany and the continent, tend to be very renewable energy focused, do you have any insights or thoughts about how they're currently or how they're planning to power these AI data centers, and do locals support this, or are they pushing back? Kind of walk me through what your understanding is of kind of the situation.
So I nearly, let's say, started to laugh very heartily about this, because they have not even recognized that problem with the energy of the data centers. There is one big data center going to be built in the city of Heilbronn, which is a medium-sized city, I think one of the biggest in Europe. Otherwise, they are relying on data centers anywhere else in the world, because what they have to get their head around first is adopting AI in a reasonable manner. So what I'm trying to say is, it's a big difference between things that are possible and that people want to embrace. So when I come to Germany, normally once a year, I personally feel that I'm the Apple help desk with very basic things. And even, let's say, the Spotify, Apple Music help desk. So quick example, all of my partners have iPhones, maybe just for their emails. So I don't know how you are using your iPhone. So I can do more or less everything. I can open the garage door, turn off our sprinkler system. Our alarm system is connected with this. Banking, of course. And of course, I have all my health apps, let's say, and all my medical history on my phone. In Germany, they don't even have electronic files, and they're still debating whether this is a data breach or not. So what I'm trying, this is also, let's say, leads a bit for what I said before. They have to get their head around modern technologies. It's not only Germany, it's the whole of Europe. So, and also when we think of all the beautiful things AI can do or cannot do, it might be a danger. There has to be a willingness of the people and the population to accept this and to deal with this. And otherwise, you can say whatever you want. Until a couple of years ago, fast Wi-Fi or internet in Germany was only, let's say, perceived for playing Pokemon or something like this. Now they realize They have to have this for autonomic driving and for everything. So, and it's not only Germany, it is simply about they have to wake up that they are not one of the leading continents anymore. Again, as I said, they are highly educated, very intelligent people, but they are in their own way. So when I see all the restrictions the European Union is putting in, might say be helpful, might say not be helpful, but they're clearly stopping any kind of progress. And why? Whether this is a good or a bad thing, but why is there not one big modern player in Germany? The oldest company, the latest one is SAP. Then we have the big kind of for car manufacturers and maybe Siemens. So there is no Google, there is no Meta, there is no Apple, there is nothing like this in Europe, all over Europe. And there's a reason for this, not because the people are dumb, but because they were, I think, too content for too long.
What do you think is going to happen here? Because the speed is moving, life is moving ahead at the speed of AI, at least the rest of the world. And so, what do you think is going to happen?
They are waking up, and that's why I said they try to scramble. They try to catch up right now because they are awakening now. Also, thanks God, we have a new government in Germany which is way more open to this, and they simply have to work. And another thing is, in Germany, everybody tells you about work-life balance. Something makes only joke about life-life balance. So, and Germany is very unionized in so many ways. And I may be able to understand that people go on strike for higher wages because everything is so expensive. But it eludes me how people are now going on strike for working less hours in the week. Really? Just 34 hours on top of 6 weeks vacation? And when you count all the holidays, you come to another 14 days. And this mindset has to change. When I see the generation my parents were from, when they built up Germany after the war, there was nothing like work-life balance. They were simply happy that they had something on the table and could feed my siblings. That's the only thing they were caring about.
I appreciate that insight on that. It is interesting to talk to those that are trying to do startups in Germany, explaining how they have to, for those new employees that become pregnant, they have to pay for a year, I believe is what they explained, and held the job for another year beyond that. And I said, so what happens if you hire 10 women, they all get pregnant? What happens? And they said, well, that's just the way it is. And so I have a large family. I support having kids, but it just, from a startup perspective, it's tough. It's really, really tough. So, would I love to have 2 months of vacation? Yeah. I had an office in Switzerland for a number of years, and, I had to provide not just the vacation time, but also the bonus to be able to pay for the vacation time that they had to take off. So I thank you for your insights.
Thank you,
yeah.
Paul.
Sometimes I may be seen a little bit rude when it comes to this, but I don't like, as I said, I don't like to be interpreted. And that's the reason I'm a little bit straightforward.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for your comment. Stephanie Einmeister has been a key member of Global Chamber in our New York chapter, and she's been very a key part of the success of the growth of the chapter. Hi, Stephanie. Good to see you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks.
You're originally from Germany as well.
Correct, yeah. So also from the Munich area, also from Bavaria.
Very good. So, any comments based on what you've heard with Jörg? And I think actually you spoke with Jörg.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, we had a nice chat lately, and yeah. So no, I mean, I can, confirm a lot of the German stereotypes or the current situation about Germany. Yeah, so. It's also always really a big difference, a cultural difference between the United States and Germany. So you don't think so at the beginning. You think, yeah, we are Western culture, so this should be very, very easy. And we know the United States and so from all the movies and everything. But then nevertheless, when you move here, there are some more like subtle differences also in the work field, how business is done or how you report to your boss or how the communication or interaction with your colleagues is. So this is sometimes a bit different to Germany. Yeah.
What, and maybe both of you could answer this. Certainly in my great-grandparents' days in the late 1800s, Germans and Poles went to Chicago or New York largely, but my family ended up in Chicago, Wisconsin, although my great-grandmother Paula, she told my great grandfather Adolf, unfortunate name, to move to New York. But that was unusual in their case. In Japan's case, so many companies have landed in Southern California, and now they're starting to go to Texas and Arizona because of the semiconductor industry. What I would imagine most German companies have landed in New York historically, and then now the technology companies are landing in the Bay Area. What is the immigration pattern that both of you have seen? And are there trends related to that?
I think,
I
of course, yeah, New York is still very, very popular
yeah.
for the companies. Yeah, I think if a company wants to expand to the United States, they definitely look at the New York market. And then only, yeah, maybe if it's too expensive or something, then they also look for other areas nearby. Yeah.
I think it has a lot of to do with the time difference. So I also spent some time in Atlanta, and 6 hour time difference to Germany is nothing. So you're in the office by 9, Germany 2 p.m., easy, really easy. But the 9 hours from California is really difficult. And so I think if there is no absolute necessity, or let's say people want to be in California, they rather go for the East Coast or maybe until Texas, because this is just 7 hour time difference, and this still works. 8 is something in between, but 9 hours, especially when you have to deal also with the German office, is really tough to bridge this.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
I'm seeing a lot of influx of Germans coming to Denver in particular. I think it has to do with the aerospace industry and the alternative energy space that we have here. The other thing is, and we hear this with people that are having factories in the U.S., is that our energy, especially in Colorado, is cheaper than both shores of our country and much cheaper than Germany. So we're seeing a lot of German influx here and Austrian influx. You should come to our Treffpunkt parties that we have on the end of the month, Doug. We have probably 100 people here that are all speaking German and making fun of me. So it's a lot of fun. But we're just seeing a ton of business coming in. And the fear that you and I talked about this yesterday, Doug, fear that I'm hearing from everybody on the street, I'm not seeing it. I mean, you're sensitive to it, but I'm busier than I've ever been in my career.
I think, Robert, you have touched a very, very important point. And this, I didn't even think about it during this conversation. This is the price for energy. Because even, let's say, might Denver, Colorado be cheaper than the rest of the US, it might be significantly cheaper all over here compared to Germany, and especially in Europe. And when you watch the German news, it is more or less a daily occurrence that they are discussing the high energy prices, and that a lot of companies who demand a lot of energy are really suffering in Germany, and they are looking for other places to go because with the high labor costs in Germany, and as you were pointing out correctly, maternity leave and all those, let's say, accompanying regulations plus high energy, even, let's say, traditional companies who have been in Germany forever, they are looking sometimes for Eastern Europe now, or even, let's say, for the US. And also, I know we in America, especially in California, are always complaining about taxation. Let me make a very quick example to tell you how bad it is. I'm still a partner in the German firm, so I get my profit share is taxed in Germany first. When I see the certain percentage, let's say, will be reimbursed with a tax credit on the US side, but I still have to pay the full California taxes. My salary is only taxed over here, and my wife's income is also only taxed over here, but not, let's say, the portion that I get as profit share from our firm. Even with this setup, we pay less taxes than we would only be taxed in Germany. To tell you how bad that is. And we're talking about clear double taxation somewhere, but still, I'm paying less taxes than my partners. Of course, if it would only be American, it would be way less taxes. But still, what I'm saying is, and then they're still running out of money. They have no money for the heralded healthcare system anymore. The infrastructure is crumbling. And this is more or less all over Europe. And all this let's say, socialized medicine. If you have ever lived under this, and especially what's going to come, brace yourself. There are a lot of changes on the horizon and no good ones.
Thank you for those insights. We're talking about, to a large extent, technology because it is Silicon Valley and there's so much technology. Ozga Tekal is someone who's very involved in technology. She's based in Turkey. I would imagine, Ozga, that you're involved with German companies because of the interaction between Germany and Turkey. You've been very involved in the Bay Area as well. Could you just give an update or a thought of what you'd like to share today to the rest of us, German or otherwise?
Sure. First of all, guten Abend. It's kind of very interesting because the reason I met Doug is through a German friend who visited Istanbul. She came from the airport to the hotel. I picked up from the hotel and then to a place where a tourist wouldn't know, only locals would know, and she loved the scene, etc. And that's how I get to know Doug, and I'm very happy, and I like the German way of direct speaking and punctuality. So greetings from Istanbul to all of you. I am Özge Tekar. Just to give a background about me, I have experience. I'm a Turkish American. I have experience. I worked in Switzerland. I worked in USA and also in GCC in Oman. And basically more than 30 years of experience in digital transformation, customer experience, mainly in banking. And the last couple of years, because I know digital transformation, customer experience, some technology companies are approaching me and I'm helping them to develop their customer experience to make sure that they can do a great job in selling to financial institutions or some other governments, G2C, B2B support I'm giving to them, and also writing in some international organizations like Chorus, preparing the best practices around the globe for digital transformation in banking, in finance. So it is interesting. Last month, because of the war, I woke up at 3 a.m. Istanbul time so that there would be like 8 a.m. Singapore time meeting. And if you're interested, I make a presentation about how global economy is changing, how the tariffs are increasing. That's why I'm seeing that there is more and more businesses coming to US where there is more funding for investment. And because of the tariffs and trade restrictions, which increased by 600%, compared to previous years. I mean, I can share that presentation with you and how CFOs should run their business going forward. It is interesting that we are connected more. That's why we need to come to and set up companies. There are a lot of companies who want to get consulting from me to set up companies in the Bay Area. Also, my son is there, so I want to set up a company in San Francisco, and I can add value for customer experience, digital transformation, and digital growth. I am passionate about leadership, especially women leadership and women empowerment. Why? Because when women are better, they take care of themselves and they take care of their generation, families, community. And men do too. I'm not discriminating here, but this is my passion. And also, when Alibaba said, she is mainly hiring women because women know how to take care of the business as well, because they are more giving. So I just wanted to give those, I'm talking quickly, but those are the things that I wanted to share. But also it is very challenging, especially in Germany when I was working in Switzerland, also in Gulf countries as well. it is really difficult to run business when there is all these pregnancies and all those things that women have to go through as part of life, and at the same time business have to accommodate it. One thing that I have observed is that there is more and more friend shoring. There is more and more making collaboration, especially in Europe. What I really like in European Union is that the governance of AI, so that AI is used in the best interest of humanity. Those are in a way important things that we have to follow. Is AI going to help the humanity? Is it governed well? For instance, mostly the engineers who are working on AI is male dominated, but should they be also including women? For instance, when you write, talk to me about women leadership, they say women can be good leaders, can be. Those are the things that European Union is working on. So I appreciate European perception.
Thank you.
So I just gave a lot of information, bullet points, so many ideas. But I can share the presentation I made. If you want, I can make a very quick presentation.
We do need to wrap up. We only have a few minutes, and so thank you
Sure.
for introducing yourself. And if you like to make any final comments, we have about 30 seconds,
Sure.
and then I'll go
Sure.
to Jack, and then we'll go to Jörg for final comments.
Sure. Very nice to meet you all, and thank you. I gave up a lot of points, but next time I will speak less. Thank you.
Great to learn more about you and your work between Turkey and Germany now, and the U.S., of course. Jack loves different currencies, and Jack's company, Monex, is actually a sponsor of an event that we're doing tomorrow in Phoenix. Jack, I don't think you're going to be there, but you'll have your team there. And anything occurred to you from the conversation here today in terms of things you'd like to add? We only have a minute or two for you, though.
Yes, yeah, it's quite interesting. We're talking about tariffs and things of that nature. That does affect us, with companies that need to send currency either back to Germany or euros coming into the U.S. When the tariffs kind of subsided with this, the Supreme Court ruling, hopefully companies will start getting back to normal, trading at their normal volume levels. So yeah, I did see, especially last year, I did see a lot of companies are like, we're not gonna buy from Europe right now. We're just gonna do something domestically. But yeah, we just, like I said, we help companies with those type of transactions. And you'll see some of my colleagues there at the event tomorrow for sure.
Jack is physically based in Chicago, but he works nationally, and the company itself works across the continent and has a particular expertise in Mexican currency.
Correct.
But generally, how many currencies do you guys handle?
We have about 140, so we can do a lot of currencies. Yes. Yeah, our parent company is Banco Monex, so we're a Mexican bank. We're the U.S. subsidiary, but we can handle all currencies.
Yeah, none better with Mexico. Jörg, would you like to make any final comments? What should we be left with from your conversation today? What would you like to leave us with?
Well, I think maybe perseverance, let's say moving on as best as everybody can. And was thinking of this a little bit earlier during this conversation. We always say this so often, life-changing movie, event, whatever, but I was really given a life-changing book for me. It was back in 1989, and the title was The Power of Your Subconsciousness by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And there was one very important line amongst many, and that no matter what the outer circumstances are, they do not have to affect me personally. And no matter what's going on, I can still thrive and do well, not at the expense of others. So it has a lot of do what your own mindset is. And since then, let's say, I know we should not go too much into, let's say, politics, religion, whatever, but I'm a recovering Catholic. So that means I am simply working on my spiritual knowledge for many, many years, let's say, to keep track and to remain positive. I think it's hard work to remain positive, no matter what life throws at you. But anyhow, but I think if everybody really tries to focus on this, we do not have to fail. We do not have to be, let's say, unsuccessful because the outer circumstances are difficult. They might help any time, and it is up to us what we are doing. So, and I think it's our own prerogative and our own thinking that influence most of it. And I might say, I think Stephanie and I are very good examples, beating the odds and making our way here. It was both for us a very unusual way, but we both were successful.
Yeah, to give some background. So I won in the green, or we both won in the green card lottery, right? Or you also won? No.
No. I got an
No,
investor
but, yeah,
visa at some
correct.
point, but
You're
it
not,
still
but
was a
yeah, I
long
won
way
the
to
green
get.
card lottery and moved here 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're, as a child, had some sort of destiny ingrained in his view of eventually ending up in the U.S., had a fascination with the U.S. And then lo and behold, it's happened. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for providing the insights that you did today, including the importance of perseverance, resilience, mindfulness, and staying the course. Very Zen-like approach that you have that has served you well and serves us well by understanding more. Thanks everybody for joining today. We appreciate your support and collaboration. And if you have any needs or anything that you need, just reach out anytime. Globy is available with Global Chamber. We use it every day to help members connect up. There is a form associated with that. If you fill out the form, you can continually update it. And when it gets updated on our side, we look at it when it gets updated. It's like, oh, okay. And then have Globy make connections if that's something that is important to you at the time. So definitely get to know Globy along the way. That helps us help you. So take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Jörg.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. Sleep well.
Thank you. Thank you.